1890 during his administration. 1901 to 09, he sued 45 companies, include two well-known companies, J.P. Morgan for railroad monopoly, John Rockefeller, Standard Oil. He was successful, ending this trust today known as monopoly. In his speech to Congress, he stated that the corporation, which is honest and fair, organized, who manager reorganize their obligation to deal squarely with their stockholder, their competitors, and public have nothing to fear. President Teddy Roosevelt trust-busting administration is significant. It is using today business world. He will demand that fair to equality for all.
Teddy Roosevelt was a trailblazer. He used his charisma to influence domestic as well as foreign affairs. His style of politicking was called the big stick policy, taken from one of his favorite quotations, "Speak softly and carry a big stick." I will focus on his big stick foreign policy that gained us the Panama Canal. In 1902, the United States purchased the property rights from the French for the Canal Zone. The area had been a war zone since 1845. In fact, there had been 55 civil wars in just 57 years, and it all ended on November 3rd, 1903, when Panama gained its independence from Colombia. Prior to this coup, the United States tried to negotiate a treaty with the Colombian government to assure safe passage through Panama's isthmus. An initial agreement was reached with the Colombian officials, however, it had never become ratified by their Congress. So since there was no agreement with Colombia, Teddy Roosevelt took immediate steps to negotiate a new contract with the newly formed de facto government that was presently occupying the Canal Zone. To accomplish this feat, he used his big stick policy. He had taken the already existing Monroe Doctrine and called it the new Roosevelt Corollary. He had amended it by stating, the U.S. would not tolerate any interference, not solely from European, but from any Latin American country that had an unstable government. Simply translated, the United States was taking a protectorate role against the Western Hemisphere and recognized Panama as a separate country, separate from Colombia. He also dispatched Navy cruisers. And placed them conspicuously on either side of the isthmus. These were used as a deterrent and to demonstrate the United States' ability to assure a peaceful transition within the Canal Zone. A treaty agreement was reached with the new Republic of Panama. Security and stability through the area had been secured, and ship traffic was safe for all, including U.S. armed forces. I will now read you an excerpt from his 1903 speech to Congress. It's a reprisal to Colombia regarding the Panama Canal Zone. Quote, I commend you for your peaceful and equitable settlement of issues with Panama's newly formed republic. It is the duty of the United States to give notice to Colombia that it will not accept any landing of expeditionary forces. The U.S. is bound not merely by treaty obligations, but by the interests of civilization to see that peaceful traffic on and across the world through the Panama Isthmus shall no longer be disturbed by a constant succession of unnecessary and wasteful civil wars, end quote. These few phrases demonstrate his big stick policy. He forced the Colombians to accept Panama as a separate country, and he warned them against interfering. Passage through Panama was vital for U.S. military forces and, of course, world commerce. Teddy Roosevelt had secured it for us and for the world. One thing is for sure, he was a remarkable man, and he gained many new benefits for the average citizen, even if he did sometimes wave that big stick of his to get things done. I'm going to review our presentation. We started today with Becca, who focused on conservation, and then Monica, who touched on the progressive movement And then we followed that with antitrust laws with RIF, and at the end with the big stick foreign policy. In conclusion, one thing is for sure, all four of us agree that Teddy Roosevelt was cut from a different cloth than the average politician. He shot straight from the hip, and he spoke plain. His style of speaking was impromptu and refreshing, even if you did not believe or agree with the tactics he used. He was a man that revolutionized the powers of the presidency and our country's political as well as social structure. It seems that he created a very strong foundation and a high bar for us to preserve. In our opinion, he was born a century before his time, and he was a very progressive leader. In fact, if he were alive today, we four agree he would definitely get our vote. He was one of the greatest presidents that we ever had.